This is former Indiana basketball player Brian Evans, and you're listening to Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle.
Today's guest is brought to you by Reynolds Family Dentistry of Sellersburg. You need $1 million smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you'll get with Reynolds Family Dentistry. Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle Leary, coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, powered by Rivals. It's Tuesday, June 2nd. We've got Charlie Miller with us. Charlie, how are you, brother?
Well, sorry, man. I'm doing well. How you all doing?
Great to have you with us. Todd's along as well.
Hey, Charlie, how you doing, buddy?
Todd, how you doing?
I'm great. I tried to get Jim to call you by what we used to call you as your nickname as Chucky Goldtooth, but he wouldn't do it.
Hey, look, Todd was my very first Indiana coach. If he hadn't told you the story, he was him and Pat Graham were my very first coach.
Oh,
They
man.
taught me all I need to know and how to act on the road. So those are some very cherishable moments, man.
Man, you had some teachers right there. Well, I don't know if they took you in the right direction, but it's amazing you turned out as well as you did with those guys behind you. I can't believe it.
Hey, listen, I can tell you they gave me a good precursor to what I was coming into because every other word was a four-letter word. So I knew I was coming to the right place.
That was a fun group, Charlie. I remember that was a great memory of Pat and I getting to be with your AAU group and all that. And it was, I mean, the expectation level was so high for you guys. You guys were so talented. It was crazy.
No, I appreciate that. No, that was a good time in Jacksonville, Florida. And just, I mean, again, learning from you guys as early as we had the opportunity to, that was pretty cool.
Hey, Charlie, do you remember Pat getting punched in the face in the parking lot after one of those games? Do you remember that?
Listen, I remember that. And Pat would keep the room to like 65 degrees. Now, I'm fresh out of Miami, Florida. So I have no idea what it's like in the wintertime to see any change of weather. Pat would keep the room. That was my roommate. He would keep the room 65 degrees. I'm like, man, I'm freezing.
Yep, I remember it.
Why did Pat get punched in the face?
Oh, he smarted off to it was actually from a player from another team.
There was a player.
Pat and I were not good at keeping to ourselves, and we smarted off to the wrong guy, and he jacked Pat right in the face.
Well, shocker on that,
he was and I'll tell you, the guy who did it was what, and it's a very 20, 30 something years almost. Well, he was actually the Florida Player of the Year, which was by controversy.
Because we know who it should have been.
It was weird, but it was a weird thing. And now I share this. My high school coach notified me and said, you know what, people thought you were going to win that award. So they
right at the punchline of the story.
Did we lose him?
We'll have to get him back. Right in the punchline of the story.
Oh,
Seems like
man.
it always happens.
No kidding.
This left us hanging.
I can tell you where that was going to go. Is he still there?
Well, we'll find out.
I can tell you where it was going to go because this happens in Southern Indiana, I think sometimes too, is people think a certain player is going to win Mr. Basketball Award and then they don't vote for that person. Hey, Charlie, yeah.
Well, I had an alert come on my phone. Sorry about that, guys. But no, all good times, man. Again, not to reminisce on the stuff that happened, but all great times. Again, learning from Pat and Todd as early as we could. It was myself, Neil Reed, Andre Patterson. I think we had a blast, and it kind of helped us come into our first year having expectations.
Man, fun times, though. Those are the greatest things to look back on those days and those building blocks. And now that you are doing the same thing to other people, I'm sure it's quite a little different than how you were taught, but it's got to be fun nonetheless.
Yeah, well, you know what? And I think I shared this with you, but I have not. And I'll share this with Todd, too. I don't know what Coach Knight was doing. Coach Knight in one of his just educational talks, Todd. That's what I like to call him now. Coach Knight was supposed to be a TED talker. Coach Knight was a TED talker. We didn't even know it. So one of Coach Knight's educational talks, I don't know if he was sarcastic. I have no idea. But literally, fellas, this is what's led me to do the things I'm doing with a passion daily. He turned to me one day and said, if you ever want to learn how to do something and do it well, you got to learn how to teach it, Charlie. And I was like, first of all, why are you saying that to me? I'm 19, 20, no inclination of teaching anything to anybody. But that sparked something. I don't know what it did. Like, that planted a seed, and literally, like, that summer, we were we had the opportunity to work his basketball camp. That was a rarity. Normally, we would work the concession stands, but we actually had the opportunity to, like, be on the court. And that sparked something for me, too, because it was like, I got it. I mean, it's like, it's all about teaching to reach. And I think when you teach, you learn twice. So that, to me, Jim, is kind of like my threshold as far as training and teaching, because I think Todd and myself had an opportunity to learn from one of the best teachers at basketball, like Coach Knight.
Yeah, I mean, I sit there every day, and I'm fortunate because he'll come up with something all the time. He'll say something that is from those days that has just stayed with him that entire time, and so it starts to leak onto other people like me from you guys.
Right.
Well, Coach, the thing from Coach Knight that I think a lot of us, we all went there thinking we knew everything, and then once you got there, he did. The breakdown process was so good from his perspective. Obviously, he had years to perfect it, but he got you to understand, which is not an easy thing to do. I have 3 boys that are age range 17 to 22, and it's very difficult for me to get them to understand that I'm smarter than them. And Coach Knight did a really good job of breaking us down to get us to the point that we realized we had a lot to learn, and that's not an easy thing to do. And when you can get people to understand that they don't know everything and they don't have all the answers, and I'm talking like 18 to 21-year-old kids, you've got their attention, and you've got really talented people that are listening to you and trying to accomplish the same goal, and that's really what I think one of Coach's biggest geniuses was.
Yes, no, I totally agree, Todd, and the way I like to say it now. And I got this from one of my mentors, a great coach, another great coach. He said, coaching is not to convince you to follow me, to believe in me. Coaching is to make you believe the idea that we came up together with is your idea.
Yeah.
Coach Knight made it where, okay, I would literally watch his videos, and I would go back like to YouTube now, and I would watch, he would talk about his philosophies and listening and thinking. I know you know what I'm talking about. Think, listen, all his phrases. But he would go over things that he really didn't care about. He would ask us, hey guys, what you want to think? 3 o'clock or 5 o'clock? He didn't care about that, but he gave us the opportunity to have a voice, right? But that was Coach Knight. His strategy always led to a life lesson. And I think, to me, Todd, that's what I take away more from anything else. I mean, the strategy that Coach Knight left behind.
Yep, I agree.
And it sounds kind of apropos, Charlie, because with how things are going right now out in society, man, everything sounded like inside of there, it was just the great equalizer. There was one world there that we wish we could take outside of those doors and use this stuff to take outside those doors and bring everybody into one world together. Yeah,
and you know what? I mean, the things that we're going through now, for me, it's always to take an inward gaze. It's unfortunate across the world. One, you have a pandemic, right, that kind of shut us down. And Jim, that's kind of how you and I met, right? Going over a couple of things to see if I can assist you with your rival site. And then at the same time, now we have this civil unrest, right? And for me, I think putting it together, I just sum it up, and it's like, for me, I just want to quarantine negativity, right? So it's like we've been quarantined forever. We got to be careful because of COVID-19, and now we have, again, a situation where, I think it was someone's untimely death, right? So I want to put it all together and say, I want to quarantine negativity, right? Let's really drive out the hate. the same way we had to have rest to recover our minds, bodies, and spirits from the standpoint of this COVID-19, we need to do the same thing with this hate that's going around, and let's acknowledge what's going around, right? So I just want to quarantine negativity.
Man, you need to coin that phrase. That's pretty snappy. I will definitely give you credit for that later, but that's pretty cool, quarantine. Yeah.
When you've been around someone like Coach Knight, this is what happens to you when you learn how to teach. I'm telling you.
Absolutely. And you are working on something right now specifically called the Complete Basketball Player.
Yes, sir. Yes, I appreciate you bringing it up. So this is another fitting thing to the time, because we don't know what it's going to look like as far as the basketball season. We already know the AAU seasons were cut short, were cut completely. You know, I'm not a coach that coaches on the circuit. He's called, you know, the Nike, the Under Armours, where they all were canceled. So now, to me, you're kind of forced to look at, again, inward, what am I going to do as far as development? A lot of times players use games for that. I think that's a little too late. I think that's another conversation. But I think it's about learning how to become a complete basketball player, because, again, it's more of a holistic approach, not just working on 95% physical, right? This is 100% mental. It's 100% spiritual. And understanding the ways you can do that is by understanding your mindset, really what really drives us. So that's the whole point of this 8-week virtual academy that we're doing. And it's a 2-hour event where the first 30 minutes we get a chance to watch film. I call it conceptual breakdown, and things that Todd and I could talk about when we had our red to orange notepads, Todd, taking notes, right, on film study, understanding breakdowns of players, weaknesses, strengths. And then the next hour, they'll go into a strategic one-to-one workout plan that basically will coincide with the film study they just watched. So if it's ball handling, changing speeds, changing progressions, Todd Leary putting his forearm in someone's chest to get them off, you know, ball, body, man, all these concepts we're going to talk about. Then they come back, we go over the mindset, we go over soft skills, right? So we talk about the glue that really makes everything happen. So I'm very excited. We literally start today. We literally start today at 5 o'clock. It's a worldwide event. We have about 20, 25 players that's joined us around the country. So I appreciate you allowing me the opportunity to come on and talk about it.
Oh, absolutely. Because another thing I saw, I think it was yesterday I saw this, that the Nike EYBL was canceled. So a little surprising they made that announcement already, but I guess that there's a lot of logistics involved and all that. So I guess they went ahead and did that now, but that lets you know that there's a lot that's off the table for kids. So there won't be any EYBL this summer.
Yeah. Well, and then, you know, you got to think locally too. Every state still has not released, from the governor or government standpoint, they have not released youth sports or sports in general. So this is an easing into. And again, going back to learning how to teach, not saying you're your own person, but these are concepts, again, when you get older, you learn. I want to teach players when they're younger. You know, I always look at it this way. If a 4th or 5th grader, 8th grader, 9th grader, 12th grader is going to school for 6 hours, and we're teaching them concepts that they're going to apply to life, and some they may not, but you can do the same thing in sports. And that's just the way I look at it. You know, if you're going to go to school that long, you can put together certain things that you can do daily to help you get better, especially in a sport that you have a passion for.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to form a habit than it is to break one.
It is.
Well, Charlie, I can't thank you enough for joining us, man. We'll make sure we get this up on the site. So if anyone wants to go to that, we'll have it on there and you can converse with them on there. But glad to hear everything is going well and looking forward to chatting again later.
Yes, sir. And again, don't forget, let's quarantine negativity, man. Let's do it.
Got to get that down, Todd.
No doubt. No doubt.
There's the great Charlie Miller joining us here on Indiana Sports Beat. Appreciate Charlie joining us, and make sure you go check that out. We're going to put that link up on the Hoosier.com. This is Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle and Leary. Indiana Sports Beat is now a part of the Rivals Network. You can go to thehoosier.com to sign up. It's free. Catch the show there each day live or at your convenience. You can also like or follow us on Facebook, follow the show's rebroadcast anywhere you podcast. If we're not on a radio station where you live, we should be. Let your local station know they need to carry Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle and Leary, or simply go to thehoosier.com.